Okay, it is 7:04. I will call the meeting to order. This open meeting of the Community Preservation Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with the legislative acts of 2021, Chapter 20, Section 20, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This meeting is convened by Zoom as posted on the meeting agenda. Please see the agenda on the town website for details on how to participate remotely. This meeting will not feature public comment. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting may be recorded and it may be published or rebroadcast. All participation within this meeting will be visible to others. Finally, each vote taken will be done by a roll call vote. And we will start with attendance. Kristen is absent. Sandy.
Present.
Jim.
Gallagher's here.
Ken. I think he'll be here soon. Brooke.
Here.
Paul.
Arnold here.
And we know Rich is ill. And Justin.
Present.
And John, I'm present.
Okay, there's Ken. John.
Okay, so Ken is here too. All right. We're here to discuss the open meeting law complaint. And since we kind of ended
John?
Abruptly at the last meeting.
John.
What?
Remember, I amended the agenda. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Okay.
You have one item first to take care of. That's with the.
To accept, sorry.
That's okay.
We had an email and a letter from the town administrator requesting to withdraw his application for the work at the South Grafton Community House. And we need to have a motion to accept that.
I'll move that we accept his withdrawal and have it pulled from the warrant. And if it's too late to pull it from the warrant, that we direct the select board and the town administrator that we want to pass it over.
I'll second that as long as we can have discussion.
Oh, we'll have discussion.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a motion and a second. And is there any discussion? And I will start with, I responded to his email saying the South Grafton Community House is an architecturally significant historic building in our community. We've supported it in the past, and I hope that he can gather additional information and resubmit the application that will allow us to use CPC funds to do the restoration and preservation of the replacement of the rotten clapboards and wood at the building. So given that, I have 3 hands up, and I think I saw Paul's first, then Justin, then Ken.
Could you read what he had to say? I'm interested to hear what his thoughts were.
It was pretty straightforward. I'd have to pull it up. So we will skip to Justin moved. Justin, next.
I can read it first if it helps you, John.
If you have it pulled up, because I don't.
I had it 2 seconds ago. Now
it says, "Hello, John and Joanne. Please see the attached. I kept it short and sweet. I appreciate your assistance in this matter." And the subject, South Grafton Community House Restoration Project. Mr. Stevens, please allow this letter to serve as a formal request to withdraw my project proposal for the exterior restoration of the South Grafton Community House. Should you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. Evan Broussard, Town Administrator.
And so your reply was essentially that you hope we have an opportunity to revisit it with him once he's had a chance to evaluate it. Because I think
I'm happy to read it. Thanks for the update. The South Grafton Community House is a unique architectural example of one of Grafton's many important historical buildings. Perhaps in the coming weeks, a new CPC project can be developed to address the building's rotting wooden clapboards and wood frame. Please reach out to me at any time if I can be of assistance.
So all I was
Did that
gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
Well, let me get back to
yeah.
Paul since we missed
Yeah.
his. Did that answer what
That
you needed?
answered that, but I did have one other question. Do we know if we still have time to withdraw the warrant?
Yes.
We do.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I amended the agenda. I spoke with William Blake today, and he confirmed with Ginny that this was the best course of the cleanest, I think the word she used.
Yeah.
Course of action is because you all voted to put it on the warrant. You should now vote to take it off the warrant if that's what you choose to do.
Okay. Justin, sorry about that.
That's okay. I just wanted to say that my understanding, which is from second or third hand, not directly from Evan, so it's sort of rumor mill, is that Evan does plan to come back either this fall or next spring with a more involved project for the Selcott Community House.
Great.
And
Good.
like I said, it's not firsthand, so I
Mhm.
could be playing telephone on that, but that's what I've heard.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, there is work that needs to be done, and there obviously is rot that needs to be repaired. So I'm sure they will get all of their ducks in a row and get another application to us, because the longer you wait, the more it's going to cost to do the work that needs to be done. I think Ken, right?
Yes. Well, I would encourage Evan to restructure the the grant request for that particular work to focus on the wood rot restoration that needs to be done and the painting of those restorations and the immediate surfaces in the vicinity of those restorations, and that we can fund. And we, we have funded those exact projects at the Grafton Community House before, and that would be an easy qualified project for us. And so I know, because we've done projects for exterior restoration and painting thereof in the past.
Okay.
So if he configures it like that, it should be a good one.
All right. Thank you. So I don't see any other hands. I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, starting with Sandy,
Yes.
Jim,
Gallagher, aye.
Ken,
Aye.
Brooke,
Aye.
Paul, Justin,
I
Stevens, aye. Declare the motion carried unanimously. Now to the other item on our agenda, which is the open meeting law violation
Complaint.
by
Discussion.
Sorry, if you only knew. Jim, since we kind of you got the short time period on last week. I can't even say the words. Last week's meeting. Would you like to start with what you have to say about the complaint that you filed?
Very simply, I still would like to go forward with mine. I understand that there will be another one that will go forward and will request clarification as to if it were done. I personally feel that I violated the open meeting law. The way that my complaint or my form is filled out is that mine is the only name that's given. The person or the people on the line that says specific person, if any, you allege committed the violation, I have me. And then I went on to discuss it's right there in front of you, I guess, that it was had an agenda concerning CPC by the select board. We had not been advised about this. 3 of us went to the meeting to observe the action. As it turned out, another member of the CPC who was a candidate for the select board was there to audit the meeting. And then during the CPC discussion, another CPC member came into the hearing hall. I did not notice the 5th member, and a quorum now existed until it was too late. A violation had already taken place. I am the ranking member of the CPC. and I take full responsibility for this accidental open meeting. And what do you want the public body to take in response to your complaint? Basically, all I'm saying is in the future, I need to be better at auditing the members of the committee members attending a meeting of other committees. I know that the majority of people do not believe that a violation occurred. And I would ask you if you would vote with me for mine, because it only mentions me. I'm the one that feels like I made a violation. So I would ask, and where I was in person there, I would ask that you would vote favorably on my document there. And that's all.
Okay, do you want to, I have a question first by Paul.
So what do you want us to vote on, Jim? Because
I just want you to vote on sending my my complaint, or I don't know what the hell you call this,
the complaint form.
complaint form, that that you agree to send my complaint form forward in the process. That's all.
What do you mean by forward in the process?
Well, that you vote in favor of what I'm doing.
Okay, so
So-
do you want to did you make a motion to, so we need you to make a motion to. for-
We have Ken
DPC.
waving here. I think
Okay,
Ken
but-
needs to be,
But I'll ask, let him talk, sorry. Jim, if you want to make a motion.
I had made a motion. All right, Ken's shaking his head. All right, if not, then I'll make a motion now.
No, don't do it.
Okay, do you mind if Ken speaks first? And then
Can we get a second so we can officially go to discussion?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
If you've made a formal motion to accept your complaint as
Don't do it.
CPC's response to the open meeting law
May I make a comment?
violation.
I don't
we
think
need
it's
to
the right. I think our procedure is screwed up.
Okay, well,
Can I make
if
a
he's made a
comment?
motion,
well, we don't
you
have
have
to
to go.
second it though, John.
Withdraw it and make it in a few moments if you still want to. Okay? I think that we're screwed up on what the procedure is here.
okay, no, I'm gonna overrule you, Ken.
Okay,
Sorry. You can talk in a minute.
What-
Jim has a motion.
we're just gonna get tangled up.
Okay, yeah, but the more we have 15 people talking, it's gonna make it more tangled up, and I don't have all night for this. Jim has made a motion to forward his complaint as the response by CPC to the
A
allegation.
response, as a
A
response.
response, but
A
it's
response
gonna be CP.
to,
Okay,
to
please
what?
don't interrupt, guys. Please don't
response-
interrupt. Please
I don't understand what he's
Paul.
saying.
Paul,
I can't-
please,
Don,
I cannot talk over you. Please let me speak.
Okay.
Jim has made a motion to use his complaint as CPC's response to the violation, the open meeting law violation complaint. Is that correct,
Okay,
Jim?
No, that's not. It's mostly correct, though. I am making a motion that my complaint be forwarded as a complaint, not the only complaint from the CPC. That's what my
Okay.
motion is.
Okay, so everyone heard his motion. Do I have a second?
No one's going
Okay.
to give me a second so you can discuss it?
Let's discuss it before it gives a motion. Otherwise, we'll be here all night.
We're not going to be here all night.
Let's
So-
discuss-
No
let's
one has
discuss
done a
the
second my
just
motion.
placed.
Not hearing a second, your motion fails for lack of getting a second. I have Brooke and Ken. Ken,
Okay. I think we're-
given the fact that for his motion is no longer on the table, I don't know that we need to start talking about something that didn't happen.
right. So my understanding of the complaint procedure is that someone who feels that there is a violation makes a complaint to the committee that violated it. So the complaint doesn't go straight up to the DOR. The complaint goes to the committee. So, Justin's complaint came to the committee. And if you're using the word Jim, if you're using the word complaint, you're talking about a complaint that you file with this committee. Then this committee makes a response to the complaint. I think that's a confusion point. It's your point of confusion, Jim. The committee makes a response to the complaint to the complainant. And if the complainant is satisfied, then the process ends. If the complainant is not satisfied, then the complaint and the complaint goes to the DOR. So we don't send complaints to the DOR. We send the response to the complaint to the DOR. So Jim, I think you're suggesting that we're making a response to the complaint. You want us to accept what you have, not as a complaint, but as a response to the complaint. You're not making a complaint, you're making a response.
Okay,
That's
so,
exactly
Word
correct.
complaint.
well, okay, so,
And so the other thing that we're going to do here tonight is consider the other response to the complaint. And I don't think there's anything wrong with sending two responses, by the way. We can make two responses.
okay, Brooke,
The only thing, Ken, with the logic is Jim is responding to his complaint. I guess I don't understand.
I don't think Jim has made a complaint. Jim has not filed a complaint. Did you file a
Okay.
complaint with the
All
committee?
right,
guys,
Yes,
I'm
I-
going to stop this conversation right now because we keep spinning this. We've already, this horse is dead.
no, John,
We need to
you gotta-
understand
John.
whether there's a complaint
yeah,
or not.
John, you got to relax a little bit. I know these meetings have been crazy, but you got to relax. It's not, there's good conversation here. Now I'm understanding a little bit better. If Jim has not made a complaint, then all we have is Justin's complaint. And if it's just Justin's complaint and Jim wants to make a response to that complaint, he can, I guess, do that, is what Ken's saying, along with the rest of the board.
Jim filed a complaint.
My understanding is Jim thinks he's making a complaint as well. And if he does, I think it's hard for him to make the complaint and give a response to the complaint in the same. So I guess maybe to go to Jim, are you making a complaint or are you making a response to the complaint?
I'm making a complaint. What I did is I followed the cover sheet to the whole form there, gave specific instructions that I was to fill out the form, forward
Okay.
it to the chairman of the committee and to the town clerk, and that's what I did.
Okay, so if that were the case, Jim, I don't think you can file a complaint and respond to the complaint. If what you've done is made a complaint, then you have to either remove your complaint. If you want to follow through with it, this board has to make a decision and respond to your and Justin's complaint. And you've already done your thing. So you and Justin really don't have a say in how we're going to respond to it because you're the moving party. You are making the complaint. So you can't then say you'd also respond to it. So you've made your complaint. It has nothing to do with us. You can do that on your own, just as Justin did, and then let us formulate our response to you.
But I believe that's what I did, Brooke.
I don't think
I
you
made a
did.
complaint. Joanne's shaking her head. What's
So
going on?
I'm looking at the document, Jim, that you submitted. And you have stated that the name of the public body that the complaint is the subject of is the Grafton Community Preservation Committee. You put specific persons, if any, you allege committed the violation, and you put me. So you have a complaint very similar to Justin's. This, in my opinion, as I read these, you've both filed the complaint. Justin listed out all 5 members who were present. You listed out only yourself. So I think what Brooke and Paul and Ken were trying to say is the committee needs to write a response to both of these complaints. Your document standalone is not a response. You, in essence, have filed a complaint against the committee. And in the filing of that complaint, you are taking sole responsibility for what happened. But there's another complaint on the table as well that cannot be ignored. It has to also be responded to. And the committee has to respond to your complaint as well, because I believe that even though you're claiming you were the issue, it's been sent to the committee needs to respond.
Right. If I can just add to that, and again, when I went through, I tried to look at the instructions for the public body that receives the complaint, which is CPC. So I looked at this 4 bullet points there, and I looked at each one and try to say, this is how we respond. So, and to document it. 1, the chair must, disseminate the complaint to the members of the public body. That was done. Joanne sent out the email. The 2 complaints were attached. Check the box. Once that's done, the public body needs to meet within 14 business days to review it. We did that last week, and then we continued it to tonight. And then after the review, but within another 14 days, we must respond to the complaint in writing and send the complainant a response. And then again, if that doesn't satisfy everything, it goes to the Attorney General. So we're in that second kind of phase. And I think what Brooke was saying is, and I think Justin's kind of already done this, is that if you're the one making the complaint, and it's fine that you can do it and no one has any issue with that, is there a conflict that then you put forward what the response is? And I don't know if that's true or not. It just seems a little awkward that, and I get what you're doing and I understand it and appreciate it, but it seems a little awkward because the way the rest of the CPC is supposed to discuss it, review it, and then propose a response. And one of the people who has made the complaint, and because we self-made the complaint, it's a little awkward. I mean, I guess that's the way I kind of look at it as far as the discussion that we're having now. So, and I get, and your complaint is very straightforward, indicating that you felt it was your responsibility. And as a CPC and as a committee, that could be one point that we include in the response. So, and I think that's what the discussion is around.
My understanding is that I was not, how do I make the complaint? I thought by making the motion to go forward with what I sent in, that's a request to make a complaint to the CPC, no one else.
But
So
you
what's
can
the
do that
problem?
without a vote, Jim. You can do that without us voting on it. You've done it. Justin did it already. You don't need a vote. You
So-
filed a complaint, just like Justin did, and it's going to go forward. You don't need our participation in a vote.
All right, then why did I need to make a motion?
You didn't.
You did not.
That's why we didn't want you to.
All right, so excuse me for not doing it properly, but the bottom line is what I would like to do is, this is just big picture stuff. I would like to acknowledge that I personally made an open meeting violation in person. Justin is making his based on what he saw on TV. I'm making mine because I was there. And the difference between mine and Justin's, I think, other than the verbiage, is that Justin had the benefit of hearing what the select board was saying, because they were talking into their microphones, which were more audible to a viewer than they were to people who were there. People who were there were rudely talking over each other, myself included, and the comments that were being made by the select board were not as audible to me as they might have been to Justin, who had the benefit of hearing them through a microphone. So that's where I am. So you tell me what I got to do to make me happy.
Can I just maybe clarify it a little bit? Sorry. Those people were had a violation of, I guess, quorum. There was a quorum there. That is true. And so you're concerned that you participated in the quorum. I get it.
Correct.
But you've gone the extra step, is the same as the town administrator did and the select board, to say that quorum caused an open meeting violation. That's their opinion. Nobody has, I think we should do the process and let someone who does it for a living do as Ken, I know, we respond to you and to Justin, and if you feel as though that's not the right answer, we can then go on to the Attorney General's office and they can make a determination. We had a quorum violation, not an open meeting violation. There are exemptions. Some of us feel as though we meet those exemptions. So I think you keep saying we've had an open meeting violation when all we really know is we have a quorum violation. But
So
anyway, go ahead, Ken.
I have a point of order. So the committee, I understand now, has received 2 complaints. And so we've been preparing a response to probably one of them. And so my question is, do we need to have prepare 2 responses to each of them individually, or one response to both?
So, I mean, I can just tell you the way I wrote the response was that would address both. And the reason, and again, the way I look at this is it's less about who did what, when, and where. And it's more about everyone's opinion about whether this is a violation of the open meeting law versus who was there and what was said. And so the way, like one of the things I would like to see is to either have Justin or Jim say, well, we want to send it to Attorney General's office, because I want them to say, this is yay or nay, because I read all that crap too. And even though I have an opinion, it's still my only opinion. So I want a conclusion and an answer, I guess, is what I'm looking for.
Same.
Okay, I see a bunch of hands, but I don't know if they really are
sorry.
hands. So the only
I
real
think
hand I
Justin-
see is Justin.
Justin is next.
All I was going to say is I think it is totally fine and potentially very appropriate for the committee to write a single response to each of our complaints because it was for the same event and they are similar complaints. My understanding of the process is that the committee needs to send a copy of the response separately with each complaint. But otherwise, the same response for both or individualized ones, I don't think it really matters as far as the process goes.
Has everybody have an opportunity to review Sandy's very well drafted
Well, can I have a question?
response? Jim.
Through you to Sandy, is now, and I don't want to speak for Justin, is my concern that I filled out the form for, is that a part of what you have prepared? Will that go along with it?
So to quickly, through the chair, to respond to that,
Mhm.
I was pretty silent on the details of each complaint, but I attached them and I referenced them to say, this is what we're responding to. There is no place in here that I wrote, it's all Jim's fault and he's taken the fall. That's not included. And that's, I think, where I was saying, I want to know the answer is, did we or didn't we? We read through the open meeting law, its regulations, read the exceptions, and this is a technical thing. Did we technically not have a violation, or did we? And where my interpretation, a few other people's interpretation, is that correct or wrong? To me, the only way we're going to learn something is if the Attorney General says, you know what, you guys did, but boy, you were really close, or something from them that we can learn from and we can share with everyone else. And that's the only other thing, if people read through what I put together, is kind of, it has something to do with what was in Justin's complaint about getting educated. And so I think the best thing that we can do from this whole process is to understand, did we cross the line or not? And if we did cross the line, then we admit it, that's fine. If we didn't, then we should be telling everyone else in the town with committees that are, subject to this, hey, this is what happened. You got to be more careful. And this is the direction we got.
Okay, you know what? I have no problem with that. I very simply stated, does my paperwork go along with yours? Then I'm good.
Okay, Ken, did you have a comment?
Yes. So I think Jim is good now because what he wrote will be forwarded with the response to the complaint. Now, with regards to the response to the complaint, I think it's very well done, but I noticed when I read it that I found a couple of errors in it, and I have one suggestion for an improvement. And if I could screen share, I can show you what those things are.
Sounds good.
Point.
Can I
Yes.
ask a favor? Ken, can you put your hand down? Because I'm going to try to monitor the hands when screen sharing, and I want to know
Okay.
who's truly holding their hand up and who isn't.
Okay, so let me try to get my hand down. I've got to uncover some stuff here.
I just did it.
You got my hand down? Good.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I don't know what happened to. Okay, am I screen sharing this?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I hope you can see it if it's red, if it's big enough. So what I did is I put the track changes on, so you can see what my suggestions of changes are in red. And so I'm going to get rid of those little guys. So
We've got stuff on here, Ken, in yellow. Is that the same? All members of the CPC present?
the yellow, I think, is for something that Sandra put in for purposes of, I don't know, logistics.
Yeah, it just because we were having this meeting today,
She didn't know.
I didn't know, so I
Okay, so
highlighted.
is your red,
Yep.
is that coming later? Oh, there it is.
And we're not all
Can I-
present, so. it's
Mr.
good that you
Chairman,
did
can
that.
I make a, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make a point of order before we go forward a little bit, before Ken goes into his thing, if I may.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I don't think Jim and Justin hasn't been participating. I think he said he was recusing himself, although he keeps jumping in. I'm going to make the comment up front that I don't think it's appropriate to have Jim or Justin participate in our response to them. I mean, they can hang around, I guess. It's not really the way recusal works, but I think we should, just for brevity and getting forward and going forward with this, I don't think we should be entertaining questions from the people who have filed a complaint, and just to make it move faster.
If I can comment on that,
Sure.
with the knowledge that my complaint is going to be included in this, I have no problem with that, and I can easily shut up. I can
Okay.
shut up, but it won't be easy.
Well, I didn't want to say it like that, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, do you want to go through the corrections or changes?
It shouldn't take long. The first one is in this paragraph starting with a 3 there. It's a point of correction. It says that, Mr. Gallagher spoke, Mr. Scarlett spoke. I did not. Mr. Whitney spoke, and so Whitney and
thank you.
Hilberger need to be reversed. So what I'm going to do here is just accept changes. Well, is it what me? Yeah. So I'm going to just accept these things so that when we're done, it's done.
Okay,
And so the next thing is are a couple of typographical errors. And in the response to complaint here, I'll move it up to the top. I think we wanted to say based on.
Yeah, I
And-
caught that afterwards.
And here members is it's plural possessive.
Yep.
And follow up, I'm a hyphen Nazi, so I think that's a hyphen. And discussions at a CPC meeting.
Yeah, it should
And-
be the CPC meeting on April 7th. So if you have it specific, it should be the.
I'll have to fix that because it's not, for some reason, it's not working for me. The next one is I'm saying that the word technically is extra. In fact, I think it's a little bit negative for our purposes because putting the word technically in there allows the inference that the violation might have occurred in some non-technical sense. And so we don't mean that. And so I think we should omit the word technically.
I mean, this is when you get to the level of the words, and I definitely went back and forth a bunch of times. So I would defer to the rest of the committee because I think there's a couple other words like that I think we could discuss also.
But this is the only
Yes.
one. This is the only one that jumped out at me because
Okay.
let's
I have
someone-
one that's right in that same sentence.
Excuse me.
I have another one that's in that same sentence where we talk about understanding.
Well,
I think that
let me
should
just
probably
accept.
read belief.
I think those are synonyms.
Yeah, and that's just a
I
way
think
that,
belief is softer.
okay, yeah. And again, from my perspective, that's a common word that I've been instructed to use in a lot of, but belief is, to me, it would be a similar word. So that's
Yeah.
fine. I don't care.
For some reason, I'm not, my keyboard's not working, so I'm not able to do that. I can only click things. It may have something to do with the fact that it's screen shared. But so let me make a note of that. If we want to put belief in there, that's fine. I have that,
May I ask a question?
certainly.
So I just want to make certain, Ken, the changes that you can't make real time, you're capturing those and then you're going to update this document?
I'm making notes, yes.
I
Okay,
can also, I have it live on my computer. I can do it there too.
Okay, but
My
that's
other
fine as
question,
long as
wait,
you
I'm
get them
sorry,
all.
I'm not done. Can I ask one more thing, please?
Yeah,
It's really hard to watch all of you and make sure that, if a hand goes up. So as you're bringing up changes that you're making to the document, Ken, if you could just pause and make sure that everyone is in agreement with that change, I think that would be good. John, I feel like I'm overstepping. I'm sorry, but
okay,
as the
so,
note taker, I'm a little crazy here right now.
yeah, with somebody, I can't see the hands up on my
Right,
screen.
and
So
I'm
if someone
doing
could
my
tell me
best.
that the hands are up.
I'm doing my best to monitor the hands up. So what I'm asking is if you could just go a little more slowly and take a pause before you go on to the next item to make sure that everybody's good with it.
Okay, but there's only really one more item, so we're almost done. Okay, in the paragraph 1, D1A, I think that the intent is to lay out the premise and then the points following it support the premise. And I think it'd be that adding the text in red makes it more clear what the premise is. So it says, the exception, it says that the main idea here is that the exception in the open meeting law to the definition of meeting for attendance by members of one body attending the meeting of another body. So we're claiming the exception. And the agenda item dealt with the membership makeup and was the purview of the select board and thus did not constitute deliberation. And then from that, everything else speaks to each of those points.
Yeah, and from my perspective, again, and again, everyone needs to understand that I'm always writing very technical stuff. So I come with it from a very specific point of view and so forth. And so I'm always I state the regulations and then the conclusions from the regulations. It's a style. It is not right. It is not wrong. I
Yeah.
don't really have a strong feeling.
Yeah, if I could jump in on one thing, the only thing I would comment on, and Sandy, I don't think you have to keep saying, this is very, very well done. So you don't have to say anything about anything.
Really, no apology.
These are going to be little picky and things that we each have our own
Style.
we're doing some style, right? I prefer to take out everywhere you have the word purview and put in jurisdiction where it's appropriate.
I had the same thing.
That's fine. And
Because
that
that's
was
a word
something,
that's within the exemption, so.
yeah, and because I was kind of trying to keep with what Paul had prepared, and that was extremely helpful because
By the
I
way-
didn't have to do any of the backup stuff. I just formatted it.
Can you repeat that suggestion? I didn't quite hear it.
I just want to take out
Change
where, go ahead, Paul, you had the same
Change
thing.
out anything that says purview with the word jurisdiction, because that's what's in the actual law,
Makes sense
that
to me.
term, jurisdiction.
So I'm hearing that there's at least there's either general agreement or at least consent that we add to the paragraph A there to clearly state the basis for the claim, for our point of view.
Yeah, I'm fine with all what Ken has said. I have a couple other things if he wants to leave the
Okay.
document up. but I'm
Yes.
fine with everything you did.
Okay, so I'm done with what I was suggesting.
Right.
Okay.
I
did,
can go
um,
after Brooke, but I
No,
have a
Paul,
few
you can,
things.
Paul, you can go first if you want.
I've got a lot of like, I was a journalism major. I was an editor. So bear with me. Do you want me to share it, or maybe it'd be just as easy, Sandy, if you just kind of walked along? But on the first page in the section A, about midway through, we're talking about Joanne. It says from Joanne, CPC admin assist. That should read assistant.
Yep. Very good catch. And
Um,
I did admin because that was what was on the bottom of the email.
And then and that's fine. And in paragraph B, the second line, actually this third line from the bottom, the sentence starts, all members of the CPC were present. No public comment was taken meeting. I think that should have the word thereby after taken, thereby meeting the timeline. It just doesn't, it's like a word's missing.
Oh, that's pretty common for me, actually.
So it will read, all members of the CPC were present, no public comment was taken, thereby meeting the timeline included in the instructions for public body, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Instead of 2 sentences. That's my technical writing coming out. If it doesn't look right, make it more sentences. No, you simplify it. Simplify it. If someone reads what I've done and says it's boring, I've achieved what I'm supposed to, because it's supposed to be in the middle of the road and not emotional. But I
Well,
get that.
Yukon King, our job is done.
All right. Under section C, number 2, there's an indent there that shouldn't be there right at the beginning. The first word.
One space, that was,
But I,
Sorry. Tell you. And then that same paragraph, third line down, it says, and Mr. Paget became aware of a select board agenda item related to, never mind, that one was already addressed.
no, we didn't. There's an extra and.
and
And that's what it is. All right. And there's where is this one? All right. Yes, that was it. There's an extra and. Sorry, my comment thing covers up what I was looking at. All right. And then below that, number 3, Colleen is missing an E.
God, you can
First
tell you
time.
were an editor.
boy, this is a test. This is this.
I grew up under an engineer who I think had a previous life as an editor. So that and the old comment, so what?
All right. And then, and this may be semantics, but in that paragraph, it talks about how, where's the line? Ms. Roy indicated that 5 members of the CPC constituted a quorum. She actually didn't say quorum at that point in the meeting. She said immediately prior to asking Jim if he wished to speak, she said a majority of CPC members are present. I see a majority of CPC members are present. She did say quorum later in the meeting, but that was after everyone had spoken.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's right. She used the word majority first, and then a few minutes later, she used the word quorum.
Correct.
But it was all that was said.
I know it means the same thing. I know, but
no, but I think it's important because it's part of the legislation, the regulations. Sorry, what?
But I think the thing that's really important is that we put here what she actually said. I wouldn't want to misrepresent anything that Colleen said.
Yeah. So, Paul will know this. You say someone said something, gives a synopsis of it, or you say she stated something, and that's what that should be quoted. So
Right.
And I did not go back and watch the meeting, so I wasn't going to do that. So I wasn't quoting anything.
I did, because I was watching for that specific point, because I hadn't remembered her saying it, and she did. She brought that. It said a majority of CPC members are present. And then
Okay.
later on, she did say that there's a quorum present.
I would just put that exactly in it. Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you do that?
Oh, you telling me to do that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't have all this. I haven't been, okay.
So if we're changing what we had said last night.
Jim, remember the conversation we had
All
earlier?
right, okay.
Um,
Can I whistle?
all right,
You can
all right, you
whistle.
already addressed the issue that Ken is the one that didn't speak, and Mr. Whitney did. In same section C, number 4, towards the bottom. Let me just move this so I can see what it says. Need to add the word they after the word and. So, and they are attached. Separate OML complaints and they are attached, not just and are attached. All right, then if no one's writing these down, I can
Or
certainly forward it.
delete and are and say which.
You could do that too.
I actually think that the easiest way is going to be is all the different, if everyone has little notes on it, is just to kind of follow up with those notes so to make sure
Yeah,
that we didn't miss anything.
I will forward it. On same section D1, and this goes to what we were talking about a few minutes ago. It reads, "It is the committee's understanding that a violation did not technically occur." I'm just thinking that that should be softened a little bit, that it's our belief rather than understanding. I know it's semantics, but it's.
Or is the opinion, because that's what it is.
And
It is
and
the
I'd also
opinion
take
of the
out,
committee.
and also.
I mean, they
know we
all
have to-
essentially mean the same. So
Right.
Well, true, but I would take out technically as well. If it's not for
That's
you.
gone. That's already gone.
Yeah,
it's
I
gone.
took care of that.
All right, good. All
And
right.
then the only reason I wouldn't use opinion is simply because as a professional, I give my professional opinion. I think a belief is a better word for that. And again, we're really getting into the weeds.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That same section, it's the second. I guess it's the last sentence in the initial paragraph. It says, "This is based on following." It should be, "This is based on the following."
Whoa, good, man, good eye,
Like I said, that's an editor.
good eye. You're getting these, Sandy, right?
These I'm typing in and I'll forward this and we just need to, I think someone needs just to take the different comments and make sure they're all in here. So I haven't gotten every single one of them, but I've gotten most of them.
Second page, number 2, second line says the CPC members in attendance discussed. They're all covered up. Discussed an area not under CPC. You said, well, we're
Preview.
already replacing
Pur-
jurisdiction. So
Yeah.
it says preview. You meant purview, but you're taking that out. I'm trying to find what this one was. For word attendance. So after, let me just open this up. After the word attendance in that sentence, so let me just find where that is. You guys see the word attendance? in
Yep.
that?
I'm thinking that it should be something, the discussion did not fall under something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was thinking adding the word therefore after the word attendance, and adding the word that is after the word area.
You can begin the sentence with therefore. That solves your problem.
Yeah, you can do that too. On section 3, it says ruling from Attorney General's office. Where did it go? We should put the word the before it, attorney. the Attorney General's
Okay,
office.
from the, yeah, that's first, second, yep.
And then
this
in
is,
this sentence,
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the paragraph that I sort of made up and we hadn't
Yeah.
really discussed.
so you have a sentence in the middle of this. I'm trying to find where it starts. So,
I know what you're talking about. Ugh.
So it talks about make sure the CPC is following the open meeting law. I suggest replacing that with help avoid the potential for open meeting law concerns arising.
If I can jump in, I thought that whole sentence from the CPC members have learned all the way down to the CPC members will also. I didn't like that whole those two sentences. Yeah, go down a little bit more to the CPC members will. I think if we took that whole thing out, it still makes sense. And it says we'll improve our understanding. And once we receive a final ruling, we'll share the information. That if you go up
Yeah.
from there, Sandy, from CPC up to the other CPC.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah. Yep. One more. Right. I wasn't really, again, I think you did a great job. If it goes in, it's fine. If it were me, I would take those two sentences out.
Yeah. I mean, I
think you're-
rewrote this area like 4 times.
Yeah.
So what would you take
I
out,
think it's
Ken?
what she's highlighted right there. I would take that out. I mean, let them do their job about that and tell us what, and it just makes it seem as though I've done, again, that we've done something wrong. There are exceptions to this rule. So,
Yeah. I agree with that.
and I don't think we've done anything wrong. So to say, we'll be more closely, we'll look at it.
Well,
We've learned from this experience. I mean, I think we have learned from this experience. I'm not sure if this sentence is telling me what I learned, though. I've learned a lot, but
well, we have learned.
I know, but maybe not about the nuances. Well, I don't
Well,
know.
we have
I
learned
guess,
about the nuances.
I guess I'll be more diligent when the number of members of non-CPC meetings, site walks constitute a quorum. I don't know if that's our issue. I mean, it may be, but I'm just, I guess I told you, if you want to leave them in there, leave it. If I was writing this, I wouldn't put in that I'll be more diligent about doing a certain thing that I'm not really sure I did incorrectly. The
Well,
quorum problem is true, but the rest is not. And this is an open meeting law, not a quorum issue. So, sorry, Ken. Go ahead.
I think it reads more clearly that way without it.
Yeah. It's a little bit jumbled because it's separate thoughts that I put together.
Yep.
And didn't quite flow the right way. Okay.
So if that's omitted, then you need to remove the phrase containing the word also.
Well, we did say to improve or confirm our understanding.
Right.
We'll also, don't
Yeah.
know.
So
I mean, you could, or you
Okay.
don't have to.
Okay. All right. So I'm okay with you removing that if people think we should.
I think
Doesn't
it makes it
change the
easier to
overall.
read.
yeah.
And that's all I had.
Thank you.
So Sandy, I can send you a copy of the version that I had with the changes that I had highlighted in red.
Okay.
And you can, hopefully you got the rest of them so that I couldn't.
I got a bunch of them, but so I think I got a lot of what Paul was saying. So if I get yours and then Paul sends me what he had, then I'll just double check it and then I'll give this to Joanne and she gets to do a final read through of it.
So the question is, can we vote to accept this result now? And
Yes.
it would be
And
my
then-
view that we can.
I would agree with that.
Are you saying can, C-A-N, or can't?
I'm saying that we can. We
Yes.
can accept this final product is close enough that the details are minor now.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, do I have is that
Can I make
an
one
emotion?
recommendation?
Yeah,
Okay.
Joanne? sorry.
So it's the piece where we were bringing all this together. Ken's, were very laid out, I think. So he sends those to Sandy. She incorporates those. Paul were all of yours actually documented, or were some of these?
Yes, I have them, but they're comments. I didn't set it, I didn't track changes because I hate
Okay,
tracking changes.
But you can send.
But I
the
have comments with all of them and she can open them and easily see. what-
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that I had something that I could then use to proofread.
Okay. So do I,
I move
John, you
that.
have a hand up. You have a hand up.
okay, I can't, sorry, I can't see.
I know, I'm just letting you know, it's just,
Okay, Justin?
So just as a very specific point that I just noticed on letter B there. First off, today is April 13th, not the 14th. And we are not all present at this meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talked
Yeah, that-
about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I had it
Initially.
highlighted, because I wasn't sure if everyone's going to show up. But
Yeah, so Kristen's missing. but-
so,
And so is Rich.
right, yeah, we're missing 2 people.
So we can say quorum was present.
So one last question on my part is that the way the process is that we are going to finalize this response and we send it back to the folks who actually did the complaints. And then
Correct.
if they accept it, then that ends there. And like what Justin said, a copy goes to the Attorney General's office. I'm wondering how we get that conclusion of making sure that the Attorney General's office actually rules on it so that we find out if we're right or wrong.
I guess we just follow up, that we
Okay.
put it on a tickler every month. If we haven't heard back, I can
I don't-
call or however you communicate with them to say this was filed. We're anticipating a response. Where is this in process? Could you let us know?
John,
I can't, I
Paul
know,
has his hand up.
yep, Paul.
So I suspect that if it doesn't get sent to them via a complainant, that they're not going to weigh in on it without us maybe asking them to do it.
But we're sending this to them.
Yes, but
along-
that's so they have it in the event that a complainant isn't satisfied with their answer and then reaches out to them. If in fact that doesn't happen, I think it just sits in a file.
So I
don't
guess
think they
then
respond to it.
what we need to do is ask both Jim and Justin to respond to us in writing, whether it's an email or a letter, and say, I have received your response to my complaint. I agree with it, or I do not agree with it. So we have their response. Then we take those responses, we send it with a cover letter, all of this to the Attorney General and say, both complainants have agreed with our response. We would ask that you rule on this. We seek your opinion and guidance on this.
Well, we can't mandate that they reply.
I
to
said
us.
ask.
Yeah. And why don't we just wait to find out whether or not they're going to escalate it? They could probably answer that question now because they know what our
All right, can I jump
but
in
they
here?
don't have to. And, we'll just wait and see what happens.
All right, can I
Who
jump
doesn't
in,
like that
John?
idea?
Okay.
There's a process, follow the process.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's why I want to jump in.
Go
Can
ahead.
All right, thank you. I'm looking at the open meeting law complaint form. And it says, once the public body has responded to the complaint, if you're not satisfied with the public body's response to your complaint, you may file a copy of the complaint with the division by mail, email, or by hand. But once you have waited for 30 days after filing the complaint with the body, mail may be sent to the Division of Open Government, Office of the Attorney General, 1 Ashburton Place, 20th floor, Boston, Mass. And my opinion is that that you do not need any additional information from either Justin or I. The fact that our complaints are included with the narrative that you have given, that means they become part and parcel. So as long as that, I would say that we take everything that we do here and forward it to the Division of Open Government with a copy to the town clerk.
Okay,
And I'll put my hand down.
Ken. Ken, you're frozen. Any other hands? I'm not sure if Ken really wanted to speak or not.
Ken, let me,
No.
Hopefully he didn't have a stroke.
Mueller?
he's
No,
talking.
I was just going to understand that Joanne will be sending this around appropriately with John's assistance. Is my understanding, right? You two guys are going to take care of the logistics of this.
I'm going to, once I get the document from Sandy, I'll proofread it as long as it's matches the documents that I'm given to do the proofreading of it. I will take it and attach it to each one of the complaints. Copies of it will be sent to Jim for his complaint, to Justin for his complaint. And then the two will be sent to the AG's office. That's what it says on here that I'm supposed to do.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So
That's the Division of Open Government, right?
right. So
Yeah.
can we move the issue now?
Yes.
And I think it's got to have a copy to the town clerk too.
It doesn't say that on here, but I will absolutely follow up with Candy. Can certainly give her one. It can't hurt.
Mhm.
Because the only reason I say that is that she has received complaints. So as far as she knows, they're still pending.
Okay.
And through you, John, instead of having to send me an answer to it, can I waive that? As long as I know that this mailing is going to be made?
I'm not sure if it says that this needs to happen. I think it needs to happen because we don't want to trip ourselves up because we didn't do something
Okay,
properly.
very good. I thought I put my hand down.
Not nice gesture, but we need to follow whatever the mandate
That's the
says.
kind of guy I am.
And Ken still have their hands up.
Down.
Brooke. And you're muted, Brooke. You're muted.
Sorry. Sorry, I was saying, Mr. Chairman, I was like, why am I not being recognized? I want to make a
You are.
motion that the board, that the committee vote to approve the response to the complaints as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor, and I will turn up a roll call list. Sandy,
Yes,
Jim,
I understand that I need to abstain. Is that correct?
I would think so.
okay,
All right, I abstain.
Ken,
Aye.
Brooke,
Aye.
Paul,
Paul, you're muted.
Paul,
I'm not muted. I said aye.
There you are.
sorry, didn't hear you. Justin,
He recused himself, John.
abstain. Well, I mean, does he
Roll
not
call
still
vote.
say abstain? You abstain?
Stay recused.
Stevens, aye. Declare the motion carried.
All right,
There
Mr.
being
Point of
Chairman,
clarification.
now that that's done,
Wait, I'll let Justin.
Point
ahead.
of clarification. I never recused myself. I did mention that I would abstain from most discussion on this issue and from the vote. There's a difference between recusal and choosing to abstain.
I have you in the vote as having abstained.
Should have
Okay,
recused. You should have recused.
Jim,
thank you. Now that this is resolved, before we adjourn, I would like to just say that it might be a good idea. There is some discussion that was made during this discussion that was contrary to what some of us said last night to members of the select board. So I would just say that that we may want to individually ask ourselves if we said anything that we found out tonight that was incorrect last night, that we make it whole and contact whoever We might have said that too and advised what our correct response should have been. And I am purposefully nebulous.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jim.
What I'm saying very simply then, there are things that were said tonight that that came up that are different than what was said last night by different people. And it's because someone must have looked into what happened more. And all I'm asking is that you do a self-assessment. And if you said anything last night that you're finding out now was not correct, I would just say it's a good idea to make it right. And
Again, I have no idea what you're talking about. I hear
I don't
what
see
you're
what-
saying, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe if the shoe fits, wear it. If maybe you don't have a shoe that fits you. How's that?
Did you say in your heart, did you say anything to anyone that was wrong based on what you know now? If the answer is yes, then I would say correct it. If the answer is no, then you're fine. That's all.
Okay, all right. Can we move to adjourn?
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. And we'll start with Sandy.
Yes, sorry.
Jim,
Gallagher, aye.
Ken,
Yes.
Brooke,
Yes.
Paul, Justin,
Aye.
Stevens, I. We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you